Hey y'all, it is Conversations on my bedroom floor episode on my bedroom floor episode 3, I believe. It might be 4. I don't know. I'm tired. All right, let's just get into it. So today's topic is how to tell if the call is coming from inside the house. If you get the reference, you get the reference. But basically, it's a way of saying it's a you problem. So I'm only going to give three points because that's all I could think of. Because I myself don't have any problems. So it's really hard for me to, it's hard for me to relate to y'all, but you know how it be. So anyways, number 1 sign that it's a you problem. If you never think it's a you problem, if it's always someone else's fault, that is obviously a clear sign that you are a very unaware person, unaware of self-unaware. That sounds really weird to me for some reason, but you're blind, basically. And that is something that, oops, sorry, don't look at that. That's my vacuum. It's something that many of us are now aware of in this day and age, but in the past that wasn't really the case as much. And I've realized recently, trying to heal from some of my childhood wounds and some of the parental toxicity or relative toxicity, is that the generation, honestly, before, I would say like millennials, I feel like really it wasn't as much of a push to examine self and to consider your role in stuff. So this actually kind of helps with my healing because I realized like, oh, you never even had an example of that. You never had an example. You never knew what that looks like. Like, this is all such new territory. Boomers and around that generation before and after, they were taught to just kind of take things as is, for the most part. And I'm not making an excuse for the pain that they can cause by having that way of thought, but I will say that I don't know, it does kind of help alleviate relieve my pain, because it's like, oh, this isn't coming from a malicious place. This is coming from a place of ignorance. Just that. So I don't know, at least for me, that makes a little bit better. And that can also obviously be the case for people who are millennials and Gen Zs and the zillennials and all that stuff, is that we maybe weren't raised to be so self-aware, and we have to meet people where they're at. We really do. Easier said than done, but we have to walk with that grace. Otherwise, we'll always be offended. And to be honest, the result of, or the fruit of being very aware of self, or just like, being very knowledgeable with people, or whatever the case is, you can take that knowledge and it can become such a negative thing, to where now you're looking at people from the lens of, okay, well, what you're really doing or how you really are or whatever. You're like trying to like diagnose people. I've had some experiences with people like that, and it's a big no from me. So you have to be careful with that. You have to walk with grace when it comes to that. So point number 1, how to tell if the call is coming from inside the house. You're never the problem. It's always someone else. You know, it'd be so funny if, like, I get to the end of this and then realize I'm using that phrase incorrectly. Like, I didn't understand what that meant. I hope I have it right. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure I do. I hope so. Anyways, I saw people of Reddit using it and I thought it was kind of like really funny, so I'm just like, let me use it. But now I'm questioning everything. Shoot. So anyways, point number 2 is that you always find yourself in drama. Don't look at my makeup bag. It's annoying me. You always find yourself in drama. I have met some people, dealt with some people who literally are always in drama. It's always something. There's always some fire burning in their life, and they're just like, I just don't know, like, why drama follows me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, honey, the common denominator in all of this is you. You need to look at self. You need to consider the role that you play. To be honest, I think in almost all situations, not all, but almost all, you can think about, okay, how can I look at this in a different way? And if you do that, to be honest, you'll be a whole lot less offended because you've done your part. You know, you've considered your role in a situation. And a lot of times, to be honest, it's just a perspective shift that needs to happen when we think that someone is, like, when we're so mad at someone or something like that. Like, I did a video talking about how honestly most of life is subjective. I think it was that video. And in it, I said something like, you know, what gives me a lot of peace is just like, no one has jurisdiction over my thoughts and feelings, and I also don't over anyone else. So, you know, I could be upset if someone has a different opinion than me, and it's easy to do so if it's about something that's like, you know, a passion or something like that. Not so much like for me, but like in a general sense. But it gives me a lot of peace to know, no, like, that's that person's opinion. They could think whatever they want at the end of the day. And if they're right, whatever, and if they're wrong, whatever, but that's their opinion. That literally has nothing to do with me. I don't remember my point, why I said that, I have no idea, but there's that. So anyways, if you are constantly in drama, there is a really good chance that the call is coming from inside the house. Oh my gosh, I've given myself so much anxiety now thinking about the fact that I might have that saying wrong, the understanding wrong. But so there is such a thing, I will add this in there, that like if someone is like a really like chill person, like a mild-mannered person, there is such a thing as sometimes like attracting like the wrong people, and it's really not so much you. It's like, just like, if you're a chill person, you're gonna attract both people who are chill, who are like, hey, we speak the same language, and like, you know, normal, healthy, you know, cool people, whatever. But you're also gonna attract toxic people. Like, they need, you know, they need to exercise that toxicity. And the only real way they can do that is like with someone who is like the opposite of them. So unfortunately, like, it works like that too, which is like a really interesting thing to like consider. So just because drama does follow you doesn't mean that you are the problem, but most likely you are. Especially if you've never considered that you are, then yeah, you're already in trouble there. And then the last point is that if you're just not a self-aware person, if you're just not someone who examines self, did I say this point already? Oh my gosh. Why do I feel like I said this point already? Why is my brain schisming this hard? I don't even know what's happening. Okay, I'm really tired. Sorry. I said drama. Oh, everyone else's problem. Okay. Yeah. If you're just not self-aware, I guess it does kind of go with the first point. But yeah, if you're someone who's just not self-aware, you probably won't even receive this video, to be honest. But if you're just not, then like there's a really good chance that you are causing more problems than you're aware of, that you're causing wounds that you're unaware of. To be honest, like if you're not self-aware in this day and age, you have no one to blame but yourself. You really don't. And every single person should strive for this, because it's how we can help ourselves. Like, it's actually an act of care to be self-aware, because it's the best thing that you can do for yourself to grow and be a better person, but also not only for yourself, but for those around you. Like, my issue with people who, I guess just anyone who is like, no, I don't tell people my problems, or I don't want to go to therapy, or whatever the case is. Like, that's fine if you don't want to go to therapy or whatever, but like if you have that like mentality, I'm pretty sure you're dealing with some anger. Like, show me someone who's like, I don't talk about my feelings, and I'll show you someone who has anger issues or some sort of emotional issues, because that's not how we function. Like, that is a trauma response. And I don't know if certain people, certain generations, but certain people are like aware of that never is how it should have been. It was a product of people needing to get through their day and not having the time or luxury to think about how they felt. That doesn't mean they didn't feel similar feelings as we do now. That doesn't mean that at all. In fact, okay, let me not go on that rant. But anyways, sorry. But yeah, we need to be self-aware, because yes, it not only helps the people around us, but it also helps us move forward as a society as well. A lot of people are holding on to ways and thoughts of the past that are not serving us in this day and age. And it's really, really sad. But you just have to care enough about yourself and about those whom you love to want to do better, to want to be self-aware. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. I don't think I have anything else. I imagine truly that if you're watching this, you probably do have some self-awareness. And if you're not, you're probably going to be like, that's not me. I'm all good. I've never done anything wrong in my life. Like, okay. Anyways, yeah. That's it. That's all I have to say this week.